In the 1940s, Britain was a land of contrast for black people. The country had called on its colonies for help during the Second World War, and many answered. People from Jamaica, Trinidad, Nigeria, and other parts of the empire arrived to serve and rebuild, but the welcome was far from warm. So in this episode of CHATBOUT, we're taking a journey back to the 1940s, a time of resilience, hardship, and adaptation. Imagine stepping off a ship, the cold biting through your coat, a stark contrast of the tropical sun you left behind. The air smelled damp, the skies were often grey, and the streets were unfamiliar. For many Caribbean migrants, Britain was the mother country, but she wasn't exactly maternal. Racism was rife. People stared, whispered, and some didn't even hide their disdain. Signs saying no blacks, no dogs, no Irish weren't uncommon in boarding house windows, and finding work, that was another battle entirely. Jobs were scarce, and prejudice made it worse. Many employers wouldn't hire black workers, no matter how skilled or willing they were. Those who did find work often ended up in low-paying, back-breaking jobs that others didn't want. But it wasn't just the job market that posed challenges. Everyday life was a test of endurance. Housing was another struggle. Many black families were forced into overcrowded, substantial conditions. Landlords often refused to rent to them, and when they did, the rents were extortionate. And then there was the climate. Bitter winter, damp summers. It took resilience to adjust to the cold and the rain, but adjust they did. Caribbean ingenuity and community spirits became lifelines. For black children, the challenges extended into the classroom. Many were unfairly graded down, their intelligence questioned not because of their ability but because of the prejudice. Teachers often placed them into special classes, not for extra support, but to limit their potential. Just imagine the frustration of knowing you're capable but being told otherwise. Yet these children persevered. With support from their families and communities, they continued to strive for better futures. Churches and community centres became sanctuaries. Here, people shared advice, celebrated traditions, and found solace. It was in these spaces that many began to plant the seeds of change. Even in the face of prejudice, the community thrived. They brought with them vibrant music, cuisine, and culture. They built lives despite the odds, paving the way for future generations. Mixed-race relationships in the 1940s was rare and often frowned upon. Couples faced scorn and isolation, both from wider society and at times their own communities. The idea of racial purity was deeply ingrained, and relationships that defied it were met with hostility. Mixed-race children were especially vulnerable. Many were labelled as unwanted and often put up for adoption due to societal pressures and stigma. These children caught between worlds faced a unique struggle for acceptance and belonging. Being black in Britain in the 1940s wasn't easy. Racism was a daily reality, and adapting to a new climate and culture was no small feat. But their perseverance was monumental. They laid the foundation for a richer, more diverse Britain, even if they didn't always receive the recognition they deserved. The Britain we know today, rich in culture, diverse in its people, is built on what these people went through, their sacrifices and strength. Their story isn't just history, it's a call to action. Let us honour them by continuing their fight for equity, for justice, and for a world where everybody belongs. To those who came before us, Thank you. Your courage have paved our way. This has been Miss T for CHATBOUT. And remember, to those who faced the storms and lit the way forward, we remember, we honour, we continue to work good.